Hi, my name is Claire, and today I'm going to be teaching you about biodiversity informatics and taxonomy. So what is informatics? Informatics is the study of the structure, behavior, and interactions of natural and engineered computational systems. Information is carried at many levels, ranging from biological molecules and electronic devices through nervous systems and to computers, and onto societies and large-scale distributed systems. As you can see from the spokes diagram, bioinformatics is a very broad subject and it covers many different topics, all of which are related to biology. So biodiversity informatics is very similar to bioinformatics, but it's more specific in that it's the application of information technology methods to the problems of organizing, accessing, visualizing, and analyzing primary biodiversity data. Biodiversity informatics collects information about the prediction of ecological and geographic distribution, the impact of climate change on biodiversity, the prediction of invasive species, distribution of known and unknown species, and identification of priority areas for conservation. So as you can see, biodiversity is mainly and very usefully used to predict trends and the future of many different ecological systems in the environment. Uses of biodiversity informatics include studying environmental changes, invasive species, like I mentioned before, and just anything that has to do with future trends that will probably happen in different environments and habitats. Primary biodiversity data is composed of names, observations, and records of specimens, and genetic and morphological data associated to a specimen. Providing online coherent digital access to this collection of disparate primary data is a core biodiversity informatics function. Why storing data online is better? Well, before the internet, ecologists used to store their information on paper and paper physical files, which was a lot messier and more disorganized. But now with the creation of the internet, scientists are able to store data more freely and more easily. It's also better for us who aren't exactly ecologists, but might be very interested, because now we have information at the tip of our fingertips. It's just a Google. Whereas if it was all stored in papers, we wouldn't be able to access it as easily. So there are a few main projects of biodiversity informatics and a few key features that biodiversity informatics brought about. One is the Catalog of Life, which is an online database that has the index of all the known species in the world, which includes about 1.65 million species, and it's all accessible to us. Paleobiology database is a fossil database, which is like the Catalog of Life, but it is for fossil species which are extinct, and it has 100,000 plus species. So Carl Linnaeus is known as the father of modern taxonomy, and he categorized the three main domains of all life, which is archaea, bacteria, and eukarya. So now we're going into modern day taxonomy, which scientists classify all living organisms into 8 categories, where domain is the most inclusive and least specific, and species is the most specific and least inclusive. And the order goes domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species, with the definition of species being a group of organisms that can interbreed with each other and produce offspring. So one way to memorize animal taxonomy, a mnemonic for it is Dear King Philip came over for great soup. Here's an example of taxonomy. We have 3 species, which you all probably are familiar with. We have the lion, the tiger, and a species of duck. So obviously, all of these are animals, and so they belong in the Animalia category, and they're also all in the same phylum. However, starting from the class is kind of where they begin to split, because obviously ducks are birds and birds aren't mammals, while lions and tigers are mammals because they're warm-blooded. So lions and tigers are actually very similar, as you may know, because they're both hunting felines or like big cats. So they're actually the same classification all the way until the species, because as cool as it may be, lions and tigers can't interbreed. So they're different species. And that is all for the biodiversity, informatics, and taxonomy presentation. I hope you learned something and see you next time.